Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin' Mommy, and it's Monday, August 3rd, and it is officially Arbitrary August, which is a fun, random thing that I came up with a few years back, and I feel like most of the stitching online community that is participating this year is being more faithful to the original than I am, but that's okay. Just let it go. It's now its own thing. I'm still doing a little bit. This is my weekly update for cross stitch, so let's just hop in. I have a few things that I didn't share last week because I had a lot of projects to show last week, but since I have a more normal amount of projects, which is still a lot, but you know, I thought I'd share them this week. So last week I received a few things from the Fat Quarter Shop, which were kind of fun. This is a new project bag that goes along with the Prim thing that they're doing. The Prim Stitch Club probably, and the quilt. There's a quilt too. So this one, I didn't open it yet, but it's like a 12.5 by 12.5 by 3.5. So it's like a gusseted one too. A decent size. But actually, yeah, compared to this one that I'm using, it's a little longer, but yeah, here if we open up the bottom, yeah, it's a little longer, but not by much, and it's narrower, so we'll see. So that's cute. And then they also sent some goodies, a new needle minder to go with the Prim thing, and this is really heavy. It's big for me, so I'm thinking I might put this on either my needlepoint piece that's like a kit with the cats in the library, because I have that on a scroll frame, or my needlepoint, my counted canvas piece, which is also on, it's on stretcher bars. So one of those, maybe I'll put it on that, because stitching in hand, this feels too heavy, but it is very cute. And then they had some new stitch cards. These are more summery with a generic flag, not really American flag, but watermelon, camper, and a dog. That dog is pretty cute. My son might like that. I have a kit, a small kit. It's like a beginner kit that's got a puppy dog and like little chicks, which is perfect for my son, my middle son. And he has said he's somewhat interested in learning how to cross stitch because of that kit. So we'll see. I need to set him up and get him working on it to see if he likes it. I got the kit for, not the kit, pattern for the American flag one that they did in their Stitch Quarterly recently. So this is pretty plain for me, but again, if I were to do it, I think I might jazz it up with some specialty stitches, just because that's fun. I know there's a one that Northern Expressions Needleworks has put out that's an American flag with specialty stitches, but I could probably come up with my own thing. And there's these line keepers, which I'm not sure if they will be helpful for me, since I tend to look all over the chart at the same time, but I will try them out and see what I think. I know Terry Lee from Terry Lee Crafts, she really likes those. She had gotten them. And I have another copy of the first installment of the Prim Stitch series, and I already have this because I signed up to stitch along with this group, which I can show you my copy. I'll show you my before and after of what I've done this past week. And I'm doing mine on the called for fabric, called for flosses, but 1/1 instead of 2/2, and I'm changing out some specialty stitches. So I did a road stitch here, some woven stitches, and I'm going to do some satin stitches in the B-skep. I'm not quite done with this pole, but I got the blue done and the pole started from last time. I don't think I had those done yet. This is mine. I already have this copy. So this is extra. So I thought I'd give this away to whoever is interested. I could probably get away with a letter, regular envelope for regular or international, domestic or international shipping. So if you are interested in this, maybe put something about you that you'd like to stitch the Prim pattern, P-R-I-M, and I'll do a drawing next week. So just 1 week on that one, and it's pretty cute. I'm enjoying it. This outside border and the flag seems to blend in more with my fabric than the picture shows. Even though I'm doing the called for everything, It looks better on the camera though. So maybe like this is a color and it's practically the same color as the fabric. So maybe in a picture there's more contrast than in real life, but it's still cute. Anyways, so I'm doing the Ari Floss option because they offered me that box. So I'm using these, but it also comes with a DMC conversion. So you could do either way, and everything is solid colors. So even the Ari Floss, that's solid colors too. So anyways, if you'd like that copy of the pattern, say I'd like to stitch the Prim pattern, please be 18 or over. So you can send me your mailing address, and don't say giveaway, don't say win, don't say drawing, any of those, because then trolls would come who don't actually want to cross stitch this. And I want it to go to one of you guys who are my faithful subscribers. So, and then I got a couple goodies this week. I got my July Color and Cotton Threads of the Month, and these are very nice. The more neutrally pinky, like there's a creamy, you know, beigey, pink, red, and then more of a tan beige. And these are really nice. I like these, as always. Super happy with those. I don't know if you care about the colors. Natural Cotton is the lighter one. Cardamom. And it's got some decent variegation. Bombay is this more corally color. Hollyberry. That's really pretty. And Golden Ale. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. It's like, yeah, like a yellowy, beigey, peachy color. So those are really nice. I love Angela's threads. So those are really pretty. I like her fabrics too. I don't have a fabric of the month club just because it's a little expensive to buy them that often. And I know you can do every other, I think. But for me also, as tempting as it is just to get fabric, to be getting fabric, I'm more inclined to get fabric as I need it for specific projects. And I have done that on occasion. I've saved up. There was one time a year or two ago that she was having a sale. So I looked through all my Fancy Ladies and I picked like 4 or 5 and just bought a bunch of fabric during her sale. Didn't matter that it came late because it was dyed to order. So I knew it would take a little while to get there, but I also had those Mirabilias and such in my stash for a very long time. So I was more than happy to wait. And that was really fun to have her fabrics now kitted up with all my projects, and I'm excited. Now I can start them whenever I want. So the other thing I got this last week was some Stitchy Kindness from Rose. She found this in a thrift shop. The pattern for The Guardian by Teresa Winsler. And it comes with, it was a former kit, but all it had was the chart and instructions and the cover page, which is fine with me. It's all you really need because Teresa uses DMC. So yeah, it's all DMC colors and it is huge. I'll show you the back. The pattern's on the other side. All one piece. It's bigger than a Mira pattern, so that's pretty funny. But so I'm excited about that. I know I'm already stitching my Dragon Loving Sun, a Teresa Winsler, but this is also going to have to happen at some point, probably after I finish the Dragon Ride. But I was thinking of things that I could do to make it less daunting, because I don't really want to spend the rest of my life on all the many details. The highlight of this to me is the dragon and the castle. So what I was thinking is maybe not stitching the sky at all, doing hand-dyed for the water and maybe even the grass, and not stitching the border. I know this kind of cuts off right here, so I might just do a single border or maybe a specialty stitch border that's just one type of stitch all the way around or something. Yeah, so we'll have to see. I was trying to think, maybe even some cording. I was looking at my, looking at this that I made, that's a Dimensions mini chart and charms. There's no charms, so it's a small one, but it has like cording along the outside to look like the tackle on the ship, but something like that could work for this too. Anyways, not anytime soon because I'm already working on enough Teresa Winslers right now, and I do want to finish Dragon Ride first, but this is definitely really fun. So thank you, Rose, for that. That's exciting. So now we can get into what I was working on this week. I'll do my travel stitching first. You already saw my Prim Stitch Club update. And I should be getting the other one maybe next week. We'll see. And I have my temperature tree. So I finished July and started in on August. Got one leaf done in August. And I didn't even need to do more trunk to get that leaf done, but I went ahead and had extra time and did one more length of brown to get the August branch started. There's a tiny bit more on the tip of the August branch up here, and then that will be done. So the next string that I work on for brown will finish this and most likely get a good chunk of September started also, which will be nice. So that may, because this is August 1st, 103. So that leaf was the same as this one as far as color. I thought it would be hotter, but it wasn't. On Friday, I was out and about and my car said 105, but I've been using this same AccuWeather source for my temperatures for the last 5 years, or however long I've been making these patterns. And I didn't want to, I want to be consistent. So I know it is capable of getting as hot as 112 or something, 111 in the past few years. Not this year, not last year. Well, maybe not. We don't know about this year yet. The cover picture, the end of August had a lot of triple digit. These were the hottest, so it was at least 110 for these ones. And when this is 2017 temperatures, which is the same year I stitched my temperature garden. Maybe I'll pop in a picture of that over here. My stitched version of the temperature garden has the hottest color. These hottest colors were mainly on one flower at the end of August, and my sister calls it the angry flower because it's all these bright angry reds. So I thought that was funny. So far no angry leaves on this one yet, but it is still coming along. It's still pretty fun. They're warmish colors, even though this has been a lot more mild of a year. It's definitely summer now. All of these beigey, goldy, peachy colors represent summer. So there we go. That's always fun to pull out. This is on 28 count even weave by Artiste. It's the light blue one, and I actually was at Hobby Lobby this morning getting some thread, emergency thread that I needed, and of course, since I'm there, and with my coupon, I had to pick up another roll of this 28 count light blue because I love that stuff. It's perfect for my 1/1 endeavors. Okay, so now to the bigger projects that I worked on. This past week, I was working on Joan Elliott July with a touch of birthday boy stitching thrown in. So I'll do that one first, my touchdown piece. I did 1 or 2 lengths of thread on this every day, and I was trying to get 2 prompts done in Enchanted Stitching, and I managed to get it. All of this was done before Friday, or before 9 p.m. on Friday, because that's when the Enchanted Stitching challenges ended my time. They end at midnight Eastern Standard Time. So here is where I got to compared to last time. And this is on 28 count MCG Textiles light blue even weave 2/2. This is what used to be at Hobby Lobby. Now they have the Artiste stuff. So I got this other leg backstitched. That was part of the challenge. You half the amount of backstitching and you get the full cross number. And then I worked on 2 shades of gray in his pants. So there's 2 completely finished shades of gray in there. And pretty cool. So I have 1 more darker shade in the pants. I have some orange and blue band on his socks, and then there's black shoes, black stripes on his pants, and then the rest of the back stitching. So this is coming along pretty nicely. I'm happy. It was funny, I was calling them Charles and John. This is John Elway and Charles Woodson, and my son was like, that's funny. I usually think of them as Woodson and Elway. So I was referring to them, when I was showing him my progress, I was referring to them by their first names, but he refers to them by their last names, because that's the guy's sporty thing to do, I guess. So that's the progress I got done on total of 6 days, although you saw the first day's progress on that one already. And over the 5 days where I was counting stitches, I did manage to get over 500 stitches. So that's exciting. And the first Joan Elliott I was working on was Edwardian Lady. And this, somebody asked me, and I'm behind again on replying to comments. I bought this from 123 Stitch, but I believe you can also buy them from Joan Elliott's webpage herself, and I'm sure a lot of other online shops carry her patterns also. So this was on 123 Stitch, and I also have beads ready to go. And I bought the fabric from Stitchery Express. This is a printed fabric that's called Fairy Mist, and this is the fabric. Here's my before and after. This is 32 count even weave, Fairy Mist, and I really love how this is looking, how it's coming together. So I got another, I think I only had 2 shades done in this top part of the hat, and I got another shade or 2 done, and then worked on the flowers, and there's even some beads in there, which are, here you can kind of see them. They're matte beads for the most part. The white one is shiny, but the yellow ones are matte. But they're pretty. So the flower bit is completely done. So next time there's some more shades in here that are part of the bigger floppy part of her hat. So that's what I'll work on next time I pull this out. So that was a little over 250 stitches. I did manage to get to the prompt on that one too. And I went until I finished the roses. I think it was very close, but thankfully over 250, so I didn't have to do anything else once I finished those flowers. I was at my goal, and I was happy. Same with Touchdown. I hit my goal, but I had like 2 rows left of one color of gray, and then I knew I would be done with that color for the entire pattern, so I couldn't stop. I had to finish the color and then say I was done with my goal and post my picture. So my other Joan Elliott that I was working on was Mayday Merriment by, well, Joan Elliott. It's called Spring Merriment in the Cross Stitch Gold July 2010 magazine. It's also now a freebie on her Facebook page, which is slightly different. The Facebook version has some beads in it. This one does not. And I'm stitching mine with a fancy floss conversion, so I'm not doing the shading that she does in here, just the color placement for the most part. Although this dress, I think, is the one I'm changing, along with the ribbon that goes with it, to coral, because this would blend in with my fabric too much, I'm pretty sure. So, nope. Here it is. So this is on Color and Cotton Spring Morning Jobelin, also very, very pretty fabric. So here's the before and after of that. The fabric looks much better from a distance, or if there's something white next to it. Yeah, that helps a little bit. It's brighter in person. So this was for a prompt that needed you to stitch on blue or green or aqua or whatever, and so I did these green ribbons on the side, and that's all I managed to get to. I was kind of running out of time, but those green ribbons are all the way done. So back here is more accurate, but in general it's a lot brighter than you're seeing, more saturated. So those colors are fairly accurate now as you're closer, but the fabric is washed out more. But anyways, so those green I managed to get, again, thankfully, it hit the 250 mark. No, it didn't. Just kidding. I ran out of time because this was on Friday before 9. I had to be done with this. So I actually got like 150, I think, in these ribbons. And so I only got the middle goal for Enchanted Stitching, but that's okay. Still happy with that. So that was my Joan Elliott July, and it's fun to be able to participate in that again. since I now have 2 Joan Elliots on the go. And then we had the start of Arbitrary August on the 1st and 2nd, and I went ahead and spun a wheel last time to show you what I'd be working on, and it spun the letter E fairy. And this is one of my small projects. All of my projects I grouped into similarly sized categories based on stitch count. So this is in the small category, and stitching this for one of my nieces. And yes, there's 1 day left of August, the 31st, at the end of the month that doesn't fit in the Monday to Sunday chunk of when I film videos. So that one I'll also spin a small project as well. So I'll have 2 extra bonus small projects throughout the month of August. And all the other weeks that are full weeks, I'll do 1 small, 1 medium, 1 large, 1 extra large. And I was looking up, after I spun today, right before the video, and I was looking at Enchanted Stitching Challenges on Facebook, which is a group I usually like to participate in. And a couple of the prompts really didn't work for the projects that got spun, and I was really happy with the projects that got spun. Not that I would have changed it, because that's the point of Arbitrary August, it's just stitch what gets spun. But then I figured, you know what? I'm not going to worry about the challenges. I like the thought of doing the challenges because then I have kind of a goal in mind to get at least 250 stitches before putting it away and moving on to the next one. Because 4 projects does not divide neatly and evenly into 7 days. So it's nice to have kind of a stopping point to say, oh, I'm going to stitch till here and then I'll move on to the next one. So I won't have that, but I think it'll be nicer just to not worry about it and stitch and change whenever I feel like changing. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. So this is what I worked on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, I did actual stitching with thread and blending filament, and then Sunday I did lots of beading. So this is what it looks like now. Quite different. This is 32 count Water Lily linen by Witchelt, and I worked on this darker shade in her wings. It's darker because then it looks like the E is behind her wing. And then I backstitched the braid around the edge to give it the veins. And then on Sunday I came back and did beading, more beading, and more beading, and more beading, and more beading. So all the beading from here up is done. There is some more backstitching around the edge of this E right here. So I'll have to go back and do that, and some swirls right here, which these beads look out of place because the swirls aren't there yet, but I had the thread on my needle, figured I'd just do it. So because I'm doing a color conversion on this, the beads are kind of converted too. It's kind of a stitch from stash kind of project. So these beads and these beads are called for. And so those are the same. These gold beads are not exactly called for, but they're close. They're meant to be gold. And so that's close. What she's throwing up here is not tossing into the air, shall we? She's tossing flowers into the air. And I changed her dress from like this pale white thing with pinky and bluey shades to a red dress. So I have these red beads that I received from Rita Marie, and she got them from Fusion Beads, I think. They're a matte color, so they're not sparkly, but I thought they still worked nicely in the centers of all these flowers, and then it kind of looks like she's throwing up petals because they're not matte. I mean, they're not sparkly, and then all the other ones are more sparkly. They blend in a little bit with the fabric, but I thought that kind of lent it to like a pixie dust, fairy dust kind of thing. And then this color in her wing is also just something I had in my stash, and it seemed like it matched nicely. You can see some sparkle in her wing. There's 1 strand of blending filament in with the cotton flosses that I did for her wing. And the outline is number 4 braid, which is maybe not called for, but it's what I've done on my other fairies. So, oh yeah, and there's some darker beads in here that are kind of like a browny, oily, iridescent-y color, and I think they called for like a pony bead, like a larger bead for some of these spots, but I liked these ones and it gave it a little extra dimension, and they were available. I didn't want to buy anything special because I have lots of beads. I might as well put them to use. So I got creative and I like the outcome. So that was a fun, no counting. I didn't count anything, which is another thing that will be kind of refreshing about Arbitrary August, of just forgetting about the challenges for the month and just focusing on these projects, as I won't need to count. If it's in Pattern Keeper, it'll keep track for me and I'll log it just to have the record, but the ones that are not in Pattern Keeper, I'm not gonna bother keeping track, and it'll probably let me get more done. So I'll just stop when it seems like a fitting stopping point in the pattern rather than counting stitches, which is more my style anyways. So, all right, so going forward, yeah, so I have the 4 left. The Arbitrary August for this week, I'll put in a little video clip of what I spun, and I already have the letter E fairy blacked out, so you'll see that there, that it's not choosable. So I'll do my small project first. And that was Winter Rose, and that's what this looks like. And I'm very excited because I think I only did my start on this and I haven't done any more on it. So this is a lavender and lace pattern. She has an option that you can change it to be like, have like holly here instead of, and change the colors to be more Christmassy, but this is like the wintry version and I like that. There's no beads in it, it's just stitching. So I was able to do this on a really small fabric. I don't remember what it is. I think it's like a 46 count or something. It's small, but it's a nice gray color. Shelly Key X Stitch, I believe, gave this to me. I could look it up, what color it is, but I don't remember now. I'll write it on the screen. But this is my start, and I got probably around 250 stitches of that top border done. So probably what I'll do is I'll come down and work on some of these roses and filigree stuff in there, because those are pretty. So that'll be fun. So this is 1/2, got a fuzz on there, 1/2 on probably 46 count, like Vintage Rain or Misty Rain or something like that. Anyways, you'll probably have already seen it because I'll have looked it up. Got it written down somewhere, just not right here, because I have another piece of this earmarked for the Christmas Visit, maybe, which is another lavender and lace one. So the fabric, the slip of paper that says what fabric it is probably with that one, not with this. So that's my small project. So now my medium project is this one. And I'm excited about this one too, because again, I've only got whatever I did the first time I worked on it, got that first starting amount on it. This one I am adjusting a little bit. I am not going to stitch this part. So everything will be shifted up, and I don't quite have the numbers, like, I don't have it completely set like how it's going to be squished with the border. So what I've all that I've done so far is just border, and I'll probably just stick with border so far because I still have not yet done the math to know how many bands of extra stuff I'm gonna need to leave in here to make sure the border repeat works properly. I'll have to figure that out at some point. I just haven't had the chance to do that yet. And I also have a few like blending filament and petite beads and stuff that I haven't ordered yet. So someday, I think they're in my shopping like wish list thing on 1-2-3 Stitch. So this is on 28 count even weave of some kind. I think it's like a, it's creamy. It's not white, even though it shows more white. It's like an antique white. So there's my start. Again, probably close to 250, probably for a challenge. And I was just finishing up, like I did the green and then used the string up all the way down all the way down until the thread ran out, and same with this one. I have this yellow on my needle right now, which was the center bit, so I might continue that on. That looks like what maybe I'm doing. And so I'll do that first, and then I'll probably keep working in the medallion and probably get to some specialty stitches. That would be fun. So maybe I'll try to make my goal on this one to finish that corner medallion. That'll be fun. So that's my fun medium project. And it's medium probably because I took that vignette out, that top scene. If that was in there, it probably would have bumped it up to the other higher stitch count. But I have what I'm actually gonna stitch count roughly, you know, put in there. So here's my large category project. And this is one I was excited to see because I haven't worked on it in a while. And I was also surprised that this was in the large category, but 210 by 244. So it is pretty big. I am doing the no background version though, so it won't be full coverage. This is from Artisy. It's called Cherry Kitten. They do have a background version available that has like blue and white patchy clouds back there. But I was gifted this really pretty Jodari Designs fabric. Forget what it's called. I'm not up with the fabric right now, but it's got blues and purples and whites, so I thought that would be a really pretty background. Not a huge margin on either side, but enough. This is 28 count and I'm doing 1/1 full crosses. So I've got a nice pretty start on the kitty cat. So I will work on the kitty more, most likely. I'm not sure if I'll have a specific goal or I'll just keep working until I feel like I've done a good visible amount. It looks a lot smaller than the English Garden Sampler because that one's over 2 and this one's over 1. So even though this is in a larger category, the fabric is smaller. So it's kind of interesting. It's trippy. And now this last one is my large category. So this is what that one is. And this one is very fortuitous. For one, it is the largest whip I have on the go. This is the Flower Garden. I have another one that its original stitch count is higher than this, but I cropped that one, so this ended up being bigger because I'm doing all of this. There's really not a lot you can crop out of this one because she is the main subject and she's almost all the way to the edge on all the edges. So I worked on this not that long ago because it's a full coverage piece, and I worked on all of my full coverage pieces in July, but it'll be nice to do a little bit more on it. And this also worked out very nicely because the Full Coverage Fanatics Around the World suggested prompt for this month is Japan, and I had chosen this pattern because of the gardens. Japan has a lot of pretty gardens, and this is the flower garden, so this was a perfect mesh for that prompt, and I was not sure I'd be able to stitch on it because I'm doing Arbitrary August. So it was like, wow, that was spun right away. So I'm very excited. So I will post my progress in Full Coverage Fanatics for the Around the World Japan prompt. It's not a stitch count need in that prompt. It's just work on it however much you want to. So we will see what I do. What could be cool is to work in on all these parked threads, but that might be a little ambitious. This is on 28 count Rose Monaco, 2/1 half stitches. And last time I worked on this, I filled in these stitches up here that were parked and then wherever they ended up. So all of these dark ones got stitched and all of these all the way down to here got stitched. And I would love to get rid of those parked threads and just stitch them till till they run out, but I'm not sure. Some of them are long, so I don't know how long it will take to get them all. It could be nice to at least get these top ones, stitched in, but we'll see. We'll have to wait and see what my time looks like but that'll be fun. So that's my large one, and I'm excited. So far, Arbitrary August is going well. I do miss the thought of waking up in the morning and not knowing what I'm gonna stitch, and I'll spin the wheel and figure it out. Because at the very beginning, the first 2 years of Arbitrary August, I did a vlog, and I'd stitch in the morning, or I'd spin in the morning, or draw from a bowl or something. But this year I thought this would be a fun way to do it, and so let's see how it goes. If I don't like it, I can always switch mid-month, right? But I think I'm gonna just stick with this. I think it'll be fun to make sure I have a variety of sizes in my projects and not end up with all big projects, which I did a lot of in July, but with all the full coverages. But it will be nice to do it this way, and I won't have daily switching of focus pieces, because I did that in July with the Full Coverage Fanatics, and I'm a little burnt out on it. It was fun, but I am happy now to go back to doing like a day and a half, 2 days, etc., however long I feel like I need on each of these pieces throughout the week. So that's gonna be fun. So with that, I think that's all I have to share with you for now. So again, if you want that copy of this, you can say, I'd like to stitch the Prim pattern, and I've never used the random comment picker where you type in a word, but I might try that this time rather than recording everybody's name. So make sure you say Prim, P-R-I-M, and I will draw for that next week. I hope you have a wonderful week, and our summer is winding down. We have one more full week of summer, and then school starts next week. We'll be starting digitally for the first 5 weeks or so, probably for a good while now, because I think our county has to be on the off of the COVID watch list for like 14 days before we can go back to school in person, even part-time. So we'll see, because we're part of LA County. Even though we're pretty far from LA, we're part of the county, and so even if they have trouble with their numbers and we don't, we still are affected by the county-wide mandate. So that's kind of a bummer, but it is what it is, and we'll make the best of it. And so I hope wherever you are, it's going well as can be. And in the meantime, enjoy your stitching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.